Hi Cancer, and welcome to your reading today. We are doing an April monthly predictions reading. You are my last sign, so your reading is unfortunately going up quite late in terms of the month of April has already started, but it is going to be a whole month's worth of predictions. So I do still hope that these readings bear some support for you and offer some information to you that you may need in the month of April. Now, if you're new here, I just need you to know that this reading is intended for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Risings, or those who have strong Cancer placements in their chart. If you're cross-watching and checking up on a Cancer that you're interested in, you are welcome to stay. I just need you to know that I'm a very honest reader, so if you hear or see something that you do not like, you have been warned. And I feel like some cross-watchers may get their heart broken, or at least not be comfortable with what they see. I don't believe in coincidences though. I think that you need to see something about your favorite Cancer today. So let's start by getting your main theme for the month, Cancer. What is Cancer's main theme in April, please, Spirit? What is Cancer's main theme in April? Ooh, you got the Magician and the Mirror. But for you, Sweet Pea, this card is in reverse, number 53. You're not feeling great this month in terms of your power. You're trying to gain back your power. For some of you, Cancer, you're caught in between a decision, and it feels like this is going to weigh on you for most of the month. What do I do? What do I do? I'm hearing, should I stay or should I go? So for some of you, this does have to do with matters of the heart, but I'm picking up that this could be a job situation or a family situation as well. I'm being called to your caring nature. Some of you, this is just about how much do you give versus how much do you kind of ground yourself in reality and go, I'm not getting a heck of a lot in return. When do you cut off the amount that you give in, and when do you cut off the connection, whatever this is? So I feel like April is about you understanding what you should do, what you can do, because often this card is representative of your individual power, your ability to make, create, and essentially turn your dreams into reality with what you have by being honest with yourself. That's why the mirror is there, and creating your image as you intend it to be. So there is a feeling here of disruptions in balance, and I think that if you have been able to distract yourself from the realities of how unbalanced certain areas of your life have been, April may be the month where these areas are being highlighted. You're needing to pull back, is what I feel, from a nurturing connection. It could even be with your children. If you have kids, giving them more independence and teaching them how to take care of themselves versus you doing things for them. And it's not that you were overdoing it. I just feel like there's an external lesson here that's being highlighted to you, and you're realizing that it's not your responsibility to teach that lesson. You have to just kind of let back and let Spirit take the wheel. Sit back and let Spirit take the wheel. Interesting theme here. I like it for you because I believe that more often than not, beautiful Cancer bebes are often taken advantage of for their wonderful nurturing energy. So let's break this down month by month, and let's have a look at what you can expect in the month of April. Excuse me, week by week, not month by month. Starting with week 1, what can Cancer expect in week 1 of April? We have the 4 of Pentacles, okay. What about week 2, please, Spirit? What can Cancer expect in week 2? We have the 3 of Swords, and it's actually coming out with the 4 of Wands. So I do like that, actually. I know that that's an awkward card to look at, but look at all of this. It's just about knowing your worth and understanding what people will give for you, to you. Attracting the right person towards you as well, or the right opportunity towards you. One that is not going to restrict, one that will give as much as you do. Look at you in here, devoted, waiting. What about week 3, please, Spirit? What is happening in week 3? We have the Hermit with the Devil. Okay, this is us falling back into old habits that we know are not helpful, but we do them because they're either comfortable or they're easy, or we look at the situation as being temporary. Excuse me, I've got an ant on me. Can you please leave, sir? Week 4, what is happening in that last week of April? Last week of April, we have a bit of Pluto, Scorpio energy with the Death card coming out in the reverse position. So that last week of April is interesting for you, Cancer. But it's really not surprising when you consider how your week starts and progresses. At the back of the deck, we have the Two of Cups reversed. So I just want to say, Tarot is showing me that overall, there is a decision that you need to make with a relationship in your life. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it is a relationship that you have been struggling to compromise because you've been giving more than this person has, or this person's been giving more than what you can give. There is an imbalance here. Someone's giving more, someone's taking more, and we're not getting what we want. We have not been able to compromise. We're not seeing eye to eye. We have crossed desires. There may be a separation, or you may be coming back from a separation, or forcing a separation in the month of April. I had to think there, but I keep seeing March. So it could have started in March. But the goal of this separation is to understand how you feel and how you can move forward and what you need to do. I feel like this Two of Cups reversed energy is about balancing out your connections more and balancing out the things that you give energy to in general. We start in week 1 over here with the Four of Pentacles, Cancer, and I'm going to be clarifying each of these cards with a second deck. But the Four of Pentacles for me is looking at somebody who doesn't have a lot to give. You're really clinging on to what you have, whether that's relationships or money. More than likely it is money. Look at this beautiful baby. Let me get you off me and you can go on the table. That ant. Group one, week 1, I see you either needing to really hold on to what you have or really trying to figure out how to be less restrictive, because you're operating from a position of lack in that first week and fear of losing what you do have. So this makes all of our decisions skewed by this idea of I can't lose anything else, I can't lose any more. And instead of being healthily attached to the outcome, we're desperately trying to force a specific outcome to occur in those areas of our lives. So if this is career related and you're really clinging to your finances, your boundaries with your boss and your workplace and your work ethic are going to bend and skew to the point where you're accepting unreasonable amounts of responsibilities and duties at the expense of your health potentially, or your other commitments, your family situation, your home life, your daily routine. So you can understand how operating from that position can lead to a compromise of what you need and your own integrity in terms of actually, I need to be able to have at least half an hour lunch break every day to ground myself before I get back out there and put my customer service face on. And you might be compromising that because for you, you really can't afford to lose any money in that first week of April. If this is absolutely non-preventative and you desperately need to fix this resource issue, I would just encourage you to be aware of the fact that I'm seeing you compromising things that are for your better good, because you're operating from this position of I need more, I don't have enough, I'm afraid to lose what I have currently, that lack mentality. What is happening in the first week? What have I missed? Spirit is showing me the World card reversed. So unfortunately, this is a cycle that we keep repeating because we are unable to progress from that lesson. There is a lesson here when it comes to you clinging on to things or needing to kind of pick up the pieces of being afraid of losing, either overspending for some or not kind of creating balanced connections to the point where you don't feel like you're going to lose if you don't give more than what you need to. So this is a lesson that you seem to be repeating. And in that first week, with the World reversed, there are going to be delays in the things that you wanted to achieve, either in April or later in the year, more than likely, because you have once again done this to yourself. You've once again compromised your long-term plans or your work-life balance. And so certain areas of your life are going to suffer because of this. So it's good to know this in advance, because I do see this cycle constantly repeating if we do not address the warning signs and learn how to move forward and not kind of continue to repeat these mistakes. as an ongoing thing. With the World card reversed, I see us letting someone down because of this, because we have to sacrifice this big thing that we were hoping to give or achieve or be a part of. And it's like we're back at square one with that situation. So good thing to be aware of there in week 1. In week 2, I see the 3 of Swords here, offering you a change of perspective. Unfortunately, the 3 of Swords doesn't just do that with an epiphany. It does it with a bit of pain. That's why it's depicted as heartbreak. Because in order for us to realize what options we do have, we almost have to lose something first. We have to realize that something that we wanted is not an opportunity anymore. And this forces us to look elsewhere and to examine what else is out there for us. So with this 3 of Swords, I do see you almost needing to separate your mind from an attachment to something, which is kind of helping you look at your other options. Spirit, what is this about for Cancer? Is this love? Is this their job? It's got to do with probably family or something that you were hoping to experience in the middle of April. It's like an opportunity here. You were hoping for something to happen by the middle of April, but it didn't happen. With the 2 of Pentacles reversed, it could be due to money, or it could just be misaligned schedules. It wasn't able to happen when you wanted it to. And this is really hurting your heart space, but it's making you think, okay, so what can I do instead? How can I either get this next time, or how can I get this opportunity elsewhere, or how can I make this work elsewhere? Is there anything else you can tell Cancer about this? We have the Mother of Swords reversed. So your mind isn't thinking rationally initially. This is something that really impacts your short-term, I feel, and forces you to look long-term. I see you in crisis mode here, needing to figure something out on the spot, because it just didn't happen as you were expecting in the short term. It could be as simple as, like, logistically, you were hoping to meet this person in the second week, or you were hoping to have time to do this activity that you've been putting off, or you were hoping to give yourself time off this weekend. I see it changing, and it's a hard thing to cope with, but it's not happening because of something that you've said. It does lead you to having a difficult conversation, though, with maybe your loved ones or with somebody else who is being impacted by this change. But I see with the Mother of Swords reversed, it's kind of a decision that was out of your hands, and you're just having to deal with this situation very much in crisis mode. So another thing to be aware of there, we're going to close your reading with advice. So this is more the informative part of your reading, where I give you as much information as possible, and then we're going to end your reading with as much advice as we can get from one of my oracle cards as well. So in the 3rd week over here, with the Hermit card reversed, Cancer, I do see you needing to pay more attention to what your experience has shown you, to what your lifetime of experience has shown you. You are wise. You're wise enough to know when things are happening again. And I see in April repeat cycles. I see you falling back into habits that are comfortable, not helpful. And I see you reinstigating habits that you aren't proud of, and things that would be considered either obsessive or self-sabotaging in nature. I see this leading you towards kind of a level of shame, and I don't want you to feel that way. I'm not saying it because I believe it's what needs to happen, but for some of you, I see you feeling ashamed by the things that you are doing here. And with the Devil coming out with this Hermit card, it feels like this is very much tipping on the toe of temptation and engaging in behavior or activities that we feel are very indulgent, but not helpful to our overall goals or our long-term goals. And so with the Hermit reversed, we know this. We're very wizened to this information, but we're turning that little switch off, and we're giving ourselves a hall pass here. We're giving ourselves an allowance to do that behavior. What is going on here in the 3rd week? I feel like this is your money, because you're really worried about your physical world. And so by the 3rd week, you're kind of like, you're almost giving up. You're like, you know what? I'm sick of having to deal with bad news. I'm just going to spend my last $20 on the horses. It's that kind of energy. when it really took you a long time to save that $20 because of the state of your finances. I'm using that as an example. Money isn't going to be the issue for all of you, but it feels like finances do have a hand to play in this. Now, let's have a look at this third week Hermit card, please, Spirit. Can we clarify what is happening there for Cancer in the third week? Is there anything else they need to know about this cycle or this repetitiveness? They're showing me a lot of Pentacles, so this has to do with your material world, gaining pleasure from your material world, absolutely. What else can you tell, Cancer? Could be even alcohol for some of you, over drinking, which will also impact your finances. We have the Eight of Cups. I keep seeing Pentacles in my mind. I got to get that out of there. The Eight of Cups. So yeah, we're going back to a cycle that we've walked away from. We're going back to a relationship with something that we've walked away from, something that we know isn't going to get us anywhere with the Eight of Cups reversed. A cycle that doesn't make us happy, but maybe in the short term, it kind of numbs us. With the Eight of Cups reversed, and it feels like we're ultimately making this situation worse in the long term. I've got to be honest with you, you're going back to something that you've walked away from there. So please be aware of that, because these are all preventable. You know, that's the point of these monthly readings. We don't have to do these things. And sometimes it takes some random lady on YouTube to point these things out to us for us to realize how these things do happen and how these patterns do kind of formulate in front of our eyes. So honestly, there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, so I'm not judging the situation at all, but I do see by that third week, you're looking for respite in familiar places that do not offer us happiness at all. In fact, there's so much shame there with the Eight of Cups coming out now. We're almost feeling like we don't want to tell people that we've done this again. We don't want anyone close to us to know that we're doing this. We're trying to hide and mask how this has happened, and we don't want people to know that we've returned to something that we really shouldn't be doing. The Eight of Cups reversed makes me think that you need closure from this though. Like part of you wants to just go into it with this idea of like, I need to know, full stop, like that this is really not something that I could ever finish. So if this is a relationship, you go back hoping that you once and for all know whether that is good or bad for you, whether that person is helpful or unhelpful towards your life. And I feel like for most of you, it's unhelpful, but I can't tell you that when it's a matter of the heart. That is really about being connected to your heart space, to your emotions, and to what is bringing you joy. I can't tell you that based on the Eight of Cups reversed. It's very much a murky, muddy situation, and there is shame there as well. So in the fourth week with Death reversed, this is us needing desperately to rebirth our whole existence, because I feel like what may have started as a financial situation or a control issue in a relationship is progressing into many aspects and facets of our lives, ultimately pushing us between a rock and a hard place, forcing us to examine our options, to make a decision, and to understand how to bring balance back into our life in every area of our life. The Death reversed is talking about a painful, slow, drawn-out ending. Something inevitably needs to change here in your life in order for new things to grow. And I see you either forcing this to happen or really forcing it not to happen and slowing down a natural process. So with the Death card reversed, the goal there is to go with the flow of the universe, to allow what is desperately needing to end, and to make adjustments necessary to cater towards the new beginning. I see with the Death card reversed, this isn't easy, because we're still very attached and very much clinging to a specific outcome or to a way of doing things that we feel is comfortable to us but cannot continue any longer. What is happening with that Death card? Spirit is saying you are going to experience delays in the last week of April due to you not being honest with yourself about your feelings, due to you not being honest with yourself about your situation, and due to you not embracing where the frustration that you are experiencing, the anger that you're experiencing, and the delays that you're experiencing are highlighting a need to change. I see with the moon here, it may be very helpful for you to open up to somebody about your feelings, but I almost feel like you need someone who isn't going to judge you. You need someone who isn't going to make you feel ashamed. You need someone who you can simply vent to without feeling like they're going to tell you what to do. You just need someone to help you realize your own thoughts and feelings. So I would honestly suggest journaling or a professional therapist, counselor, because you just need a safe space to realize what you want to do. And there's so much that you've been bottling up and suppressing by the last week of April, which will also be the first week of May, that the last thing you need is somebody else to tell you what to do. You just need the space to be able to come to this conclusion yourself. Now, at the back of the deck, we have the Daughter of Swords. So in this deck, I am seeing immature behavior throughout the month of April, and I use that word not from judgment, but to describe behavior that you have grown from. This is behavior that you have grown from and you know is not helpful. It's behavior that you are resorting to because for some reason this month is just one thing not being addressed leading to another thing not being addressed, and before you know it, you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders because you're not addressing these unhealthy attachments and difficult conversations that you need to have, which are leading to coping mechanisms that are not helpful for your long-term growth and your health. For some of you, with the Hermit being here, Virgo is highlighting a health and really just sort of immediately gratifying a need rather than considering your long-term goals and development. And this is ultimately causing delays in your ability to move forward and transform, offering more pain than help and relief. So let's close your reading with some advice now. Spirit, what is the advice for Cancer in the month of April, please, Spirit? What is the advice for Cancer in the month of April? If you are a cross watcher, I would really strongly encourage you hold love for the Cancer that you're watching for. Hold love for them. They need to be able to understand what's going on, and so they don't need someone to come in and pretend that they can fix everything for them. They need someone to be able to open up to, but I don't see them wanting that. I see them wanting to sort their own problems out, wanting to cure their own, find the solutions to their own problems. So the best thing you could do is hold love and just reassure them that when they're ready, you have space for them to open up to you. But it's very much about when they're ready, because I feel like right now, Cancer, you don't want someone to pretend to know what you're going through. You just want to deal with the problems you are facing. So at the back, or I should say, your advice card is agreement. And the agreement card in this deck is strawberry. It's also connected to the air element and the number 24. We have Libra over here as well. So for advice, strawberry is, this is interesting. Strawberry is saying don't get too attached, because I feel like this card is referencing contracts, relationships, partnerships. And if it's being reversed, it's saying that some of these agreements that you have in your life are very much void and null because they are no longer fulfilling their end of the bargain. So it's time for you to harvest your fruit, or to just sow that soil and get ready for your next season of growth. I feel with the 24 reverse, there is instability. There is going to be a shakeup, and this is something that you can initiate yourself. You don't have to wait for fate and karma to enforce this upon you. There's very much an imbalanced energy in your life in April, because we're not recognizing how others have voided their terms of agreement when they agreed to be a part of our lives, whether this is a work situation or a personal relationship situation, a friendship situation, a family situation. I see you needing to separate yourself and make decisions on how to leave people who have not lived up to their side of the agreement and circumstances that have not lived up to their side of the agreement. You have growth waiting for you elsewhere, Cancer. And it comes down to, regardless of whether that's a relationship or a business contract, it comes down to the other party not holding their side of the agreement. And I feel like with you, this is also about establishing ways to move forward in a balanced way in future. Ways of establishing balanced agreements, relationships, contracts, partnerships in future. I see you needing more harmony and needing to separate yourself from areas of your life that are too demanding, that are putting you into this lack mentality to the point where you're losing out on other areas of your life. So it doesn't need to be that, oh, work is so toxic, I'm just going to have to quit my job. Maybe it's gotten that way because you've been bending your boundaries and you know, sacrificing your lunch breaks and agreeing to work more than you should without following up on over, what's the word? It's been so long since I've had to sign off on a timesheet now, or without, you know, following up on your, what's the word when you work overtime? Without following up on overtime. So instead you're just spending more energy and not getting recognized for the effort that you're giving, which is, you know, also affecting your personal relationships, your family life, that your loved ones aren't seeing you as much and you're not bringing as much money and positive contribution to those relationships in terms of your presence, your joyful, nurturing, kind, considerate, attentive presence. So I do see this impacting multiple areas of your life, and I think that the benefit of having this information in front of you today is that nothing is set in stone, Cancer. Your reality is created through your actions and your thoughts. So you have a whole month to change this and turn this around. This is not the way that it needs to be. There is a lot of pressure on you, but you can do this. Once you realize that something cannot continue forward, have that difficult conversation, do what you need to do, say what you need to say, and ensure that you are giving yourself healthy coping mechanisms and strategies as well, so that you do not disappoint yourself, embarrass yourself, or cause yourself this feeling of shame. You don't need that. You've got enough stuff to deal with. And make sure that when you see an ending happening, you embrace it and you tell yourself that this ending is making space for a new beginning in my life. I got this. I can do this. Cancer, that is all I can read for you today. I'm running out of time here, but I want to send you so much love and light. In April, I'm going to be thinking of you. There's a few people in terms of star signs that I have to think about, but you're definitely at the top of the list, sweets. Please look after your beautiful, kind, nurturing, attentive self. You are treasured and valued by those who recognize your true worth. And remember that. If they don't, then it's time to look for that elsewhere. Sending you so much love, Cancer. Remember to take what resonates. Do not let the rest take from you. You may have messages in the other aspects of your astrological natal chart. Otherwise, I shall connect with you in another video. Bye.